Alright, so now we're gonna do maybe two or the all the three problems that are left. Problem number 8. Your school is holding a talent show. Each entry consists of a pair of performers. In the auditions, each partner in a pair is awarded a score between 0 and 100 if the combined total of the pair exceeds 120, or if either performer's score exceeds 85, then the pair is accepted into the show. In addition, if a pair is awarded a combined score of less than 15, then they too are invited to perform in the show for novelty value. Write the method which will receive ints P1 and P2, and if P1 and P2 contain the scores of each individual in a certain pair, and return true to the method if and only if the pair should be invited to perform in the talent show. Alright, so I'm gonna get rid of this. And again, notice that it says write the method. So we're just gonna write a method. Public boolean is invited. Int P1, int P2. So far we're just following directions and doing what the problem tells us to do. Okay? And what do we do? So if P1 plus P2, let's do it without space. So if P1 plus P2 is less than 15, we're gonna invite these people to the dance, right? Or if P1 plus P2 is greater than 120, we're also gonna invite them. Or if P1 is greater than 85, or P2 is greater than 85. So under all those conditions, we are going to invite them to the dance. We return true, and else return false. And that is it. 10 points for that question. Next, write a method named countEven that receives an integer parameter named number, displays all even numbers between 0 and the number received inclusive, and so it receives an integer parameter and it's named countEven. Let's start there. Public int, I think we're gonna return this, I don't remember what we're gonna return. CountEven, and receives an int and an integer parameter. I don't remember what we're gonna return right now, so let me go look. Returns an integer value with a number of even numbers displayed. Okay, so it returns an int. Okay, and so it displays all even numbers between 0 and the number received inclusive, and returns an integer value with the number of even numbers displayed. Okay, so that's as simple as 4. Or actually, let's declare our counter variable so we can know how many times we displayed. So int counter equals 0, and then we do for int I equals 2. We start at 2 because 2 is the first even number we want to display. I is less than n, which is the parameter that got passed in. I plus equals 2, so we increment by 2, and we do inside this loop we do system.out.println I and counter plus plus. So now what we've done is, we run this for loop, and the for loop runs through all the even numbers up until we reach that number without including. So if our number is 8, like the example said, it's going to display 2, 4, and 6, and not 8, because I is never gonna the for loop is never gonna be executed when I is equal to 8 because of this less than, which is here. So that is going to make our for loop not run when I is equal to 8, so we know we're not going to display 8. And that is it for problem number 9. And no, actually no, we need to do some more stuff. Each number, which how many, for example, returns an integer value with a number of even numbers displayed. Okay, now return counter. Now we're done. And that is it for that problem. Full credit. Now, number 10. Let's see about this number 10. Write a program that reads the hourly wage of an employee, then asks how many hours the employee worked in the past week. Compute the pay. Any overtime, 40 hours per week, is paid at 150% of the regular wage. Write a class paycheck to solve this problem. So we're going to do public. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to do it like that. No, I'm not. I'm just going to pretend that, well, first, let me copy these methods into whatever class I have in NetBeans and make sure that they run. So in our in our car class, we have this method, and we're just gonna paste public boolean is invited. What's going on here? Oh, we needed a return. Yeah, okay. So we need to get rid of this else. That was actually my first inclination to not use an else, and it was correct. And what about this if? What's wrong? Oh, I wrote if again in here like a dummy. Okay, now it's right. I mean, I wouldn't really dock you points for something like the else there. The if, probably, even though, you know, everybody makes typos. You have to be perfect in the test. I don't have to be perfect. You do. Okay. And I'm going to tab this out. This one actually was well written. And, okay, now I'm going to delete what I have in Notepad. And write what? What am I writing? The wage of an employee. Oh, dang. Oh, man. Okay. The wage of an employee, and then ask how many hours the employee worked in the past week. Okay. So we ask for the, we're going to call public class paycheck. And this method is actually going to run some code. So what do we need to do? Public static void main string array args. And what do we need to do? Ask scanner in new scanner system.in, and then system.out.println enter wage, and then wage in dot next double, and then system.out.println enter hours, and hours. Ooh, I forgot to declare, but I'll do that in a second. In next double. Okay, so I actually can't do this. This has to be declared. It's not referenced anywhere else, so it's double hours and double wage. Alright, and then what do we do next? So we just compute and compute the pay. I mean, it doesn't say to print it, but we're gonna print it. So if hours greater than 40, or let's call it here double gross pay equals 0. If hours greater than 40, gross pay equals hours minus 40 times 1.54 overtime times wage plus 40 times wage, and that is it. And else if hours less than or equal to 0, gross pay equals 0, else and I'll do it that way. So else gross pay equals hours times wage. System dot out dot print line pay gross pay. And that is it for this problem. So let's put it up on NetBeans. Call a new class paycheck. Was it? Did I spell it like that? Nope, I spelled it with lowercase c. Paycheck. And let's see. Oh, didn't run because I forgot my imports. Control Shift I, and I have a typo here. System.out the print line. Now let's see. And now we're gonna move this here. Enter wage, $15 an hour, and then enter hours, 55. No, let's do 60. 60 hours. Pay 10.50. I don't know. Sounds about right. Good to go. That's another 20 points in the exam.